there, welcome to Floating in Dreams. Today's video is going to be a makeup inventory / collection video, and this is part 1, which features my foundation. Welcome to everybody watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. If you're into eyeshadow palettes, essence and Catrice, and getting the use out of your makeup, then this video may be right up your street, so stay tuned, because today I'm featuring all of the foundations I have in my collection as sort of like a preparation before I declutter everything. So I just like to take score and really have a look at what I've got going on in my collection before I declutter so that I know a little bit better what I would like to get rid of. And today's going to be part 1 in the series, and we're going to do foundations first. Now, today we're not going to be swatching anything. I will be swatching out more colorful products for sure in this sort of makeup inventory kind of thing. And the reason why I'm not swatching any of these foundations is that I have reviews up with 95% of these, or I'm gonna do reviews with all of these. So they're all on the blog. I'm going to link you in the description box down below to the foundation category there, and any videos that I've done featuring these in the past. Whenever I review a foundation, I do not only swatch it, I put it on my face so you can see the coverage and the shade match, all in one little overview. So that's why I think for foundation, that information is much more helpful than me putting it on my hand and showing it you this way. And I'm trying out a new setup today. I've got myself an overhead filming situation going on for the first time ever. So I hope you enjoy that. Let me lay it all out so we can have a look at what I've got going on in this foundation collection. But before we do that, it may be good to know that I have fair skin with a cool to neutral undertone, and that definitely goes into a foundation collection like we've got going on today. And because I have been buying, trying, and reviewing makeup for more than a decade, I also know what I like, and I have some very strong favorites. So if you'd like to join the Snow Angel Club, all you need to do is click the subscribe button down below. Okay, so I filled the screen with pretty much everything that was in my little organizer that I keep in my makeup drawer. I'm going to be doing the BB creams last because most of those I haven't even tried yet, so I can't let you know anything about it save for showing you the packaging. So we're just going to whiz through those. So yeah, these are all of the foundations I have, and I know this is way too much for one person. But I mentioned my blog and the fact that I review foundation up there. So even though foundation isn't a mainstay on my YouTube channel, it is one of the most important item of makeup that gets views over on my blog. So this is more like a blog thing than a YouTube thing, but I do roundups whenever I have 10 of these that I've tried, and I'm currently still working on a drugstore foundation by a review. So I think like roughly like all of this is like these two I feel are a bit more middle of the road, but all of this over here is drugstore. And the reason why I have so many drugstore foundations now was because I was trying that out for a video. But high end is where it's at for me because I find that the shade ranges are oftentimes much better for me. So let me just start here with the Lisa Eldridge Seamless Skin Foundation. I keep this in the box on top of my vanity. This is what it looks like. I love this foundation. I did have to go through a learning curve using this, but this is now one of my favorite foundations. So if I were to declutter this, this would not go anywhere. You just have to go in very sheer layers. I actually filmed a short for you where I show you how I like to apply this, and I have found that it makes any foundation I have apply a lot better. So I've now been doing that technique with every single foundation I have, and I love my foundation look so much better. No drying or cakey mess. This, I had to learn how to use it, but once I did, I was very happy with it, so I love that. I have these two from YSL, and I have said in the past how much I like the All Hours foundation. It's still one of my favorites till this day. And the Touche Éclat looks a lot darker, I'm sure, but I have found that this actually lightens a little bit when you put it on your face. So the shade is actually a good match for me. These are both in BR20. And these, like, this is my favorite long wearing foundation. I don't have that many. Everything I have going on here is like dewy because I have dry skin. So I prefer a dewier finish over a matte. If you're a matte person, you're not gonna like this video because I don't think I have that much that is matte. So yeah, I like these, and this is better for every day. So the Touche Éclat and the YSL All Hours are both great foundations. I really like my Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin. I'm not gonna lie, I did like it. It is a little bit dark for me, but I can make it work in like the spring-summer season. Now this Hourglass foundation is one that I had completely forgotten about that I even had it. This is the Vanish Stick Foundation. This is in the shade Alabaster. It smells okay still. I mean, I hadn't expected this to still like look okay. Does it still feel okay? Like this is also a great moment to test it. Oh, it still feels very rich and creamy. So I think that this is just one that when I do my declutter, I may just have to get rid of this because I'm not thinking about this, and I have plenty of other foundations, and I do think I should have a look whether I actually reviewed this or not. If I didn't, I should try and make sure I prioritize writing this review. As far as stick foundations go, this is one of the only ones I've ever tried that I liked. Then we have the It Cosmetics CC Cream, and this is one of my all-time favorite base products. This is actually a backup that is unopened, so I know it's still good to go. But yeah, I've been trying so many other foundations that, did I really need a backup of this? Especially now that I have this. And, oh, I still have some foundations in my shop, my stash that I forgot to bring out. But yeah, the Estee Lauder Futurist Hydra Rescue as well. That one is very similar to this, so I probably didn't need the backup. So we do apologize if the angle of the camera shifted just a little bit, but I was like, oh no, I still have things in my shop, my stash, because I was talking about the It Cosmetics and the Charlotte Tilbury, and I was like, where's my Estee Lauder one? And this is the Futurist Hydra Rescue, which is currently in my shop, my stash, as I'm filming this. I've been wearing this a couple of times again, and I feel that it's a very similar formula to the It Cosmetics, and you can just see this is a bit lighter, it's a bit more pink toned. This is in the shade Porcelain, which is better than this shade from the It Cosmetics for me, which is in the shade Fair, I think? Yeah, this is in the shade Fair. It's okay, but it's a bit too yellow for me. And then another foundation that I had in my shop, my stash, I'm trying to use this up this year. This is the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea foundation in Fair Beige. Now this was discontinued ages ago, like ages ago, I'm not gonna lie. So this is not one you can still buy or anything. That's why I'm trying to use it up. Because this is also one of the older foundations in my collection. Shall we get the more expensive things out of the way first? So I have quite a few skin tints, because who wasn't trying skin tints recently? This is the Ultraviolette SPF 50 Dream Screen Tinted Veil in the shade V2. And this is nice, but I didn't love it as much as, oh, why did I put this over here? The Glossier Skin Tint is possibly my favorite. This is in the shade G11, and I think I would prefer this over this, but this was quite expensive, and because it does have the SPF, I think it's nice for the summertime. Just chat about my two Dior foundations together, the Backstage Face and Body and the Forever Natural Nude. This is in 0N, and this is also in 0N. That tends to be my perfect shade in Dior foundations, in case you were wondering. And the Forever Natural Nude I remember liking, but it wasn't all that memorable. If I were to keep just one Dior foundation, it would be the Face and Body. This is great for travel. It comes with heaps of product because this is 50 mils, which is more than the standard 30 mils you get in most foundations. And this is a great everyday foundation that I get a long wear time out of, so that's why I usually travel with this one. I have some more Estee Lauder and Charlotte Tilbury. I think I prefer the Light Wonder foundation from Charlotte Tilbury over the Beautiful Skin, just because this shade, which is too fair, is a little bit better for me than the Beautiful Skin one, but I like the texture of the Beautiful Skin one better because it's a bit more hydrating. But this is a really nice, if you're looking for something very lightweight skin tint like, this is nice. And then the Estee Lauder Double Wear Nude Water Fresh Foundation in the shade 1N0. Porcelain is a great foundation, but this is so messy because it doesn't have anything. It's just the bottle, which is I think the original Double Wear has that as well. And I remember liking this, but I haven't reached for this in a while. So this I need to take a decision on when I do my declutter. Like, would I want to keep this around or not? I believe it's already been discontinued as well. And this is not a foundation that I loved so much that I see myself going back to it and really trying to use it up. Another repurchased foundation, this is the MAC Studio Water Weight Foundation in the shade NC15 In MAC, I really struggle finding my right shade because they don't do neutral shades. So I say I'm fair with a cool to neutral skin tone, but I find that something that's truly cool is too pink and something that's truly warm is far too yellow. And those are the only things that MAC offers. And I'm sort of like more smack in the middle. So that's why this shade wasn't great for me, but this is my favorite MAC foundation. I would love to try their reformulated Face and Body. I used to own one, and that's one I used up in the past, but it seems to now come in better shades, so maybe I should try that at some point. That's definitely one that's on the wish list. I repurchased this after using it up because I was going to do a full face of MAC, and this is one where I'm like, yes, I would use this up if I were to go back to this. If the Tarte, for instance, is gone, this could be the next one. And this is something I completely forgotten about that I had it. The Hydromaniac Stay Naked Tinted Glow Hydrator from Urban Decay. This is the lightest shade, 10 Ultra Fair, and for most people this is still going to be too dark, and it's especially going to be too yellow, because this didn't come in undertones, which was a bit of a shame. And this was launched right when skin tints were all the hype, and I remember loving this over my Glossier Future Dew. But to be quite fair, I don't think I've reached for this foundation ever since reviewing it. And like I mentioned, I had completely forgotten about it. So even though I like this, this is another contender. Like, this is another one I need to take a decision on. Now I can already let you know something that is going to be decluttered, and that's this foundation. This is by ABH, the Anastasia Beverly Hills Luminous Foundation in 130N. And the reason why I'm getting rid of that, this just looks atrocious. Hold on, let me shake it up so it looks a bit prettier. But this I've used just more often, which is why there's that gap. But the Zoeva Authentic Skin Foundation, I have this in 030N Ambition. I like it better than the ABH one. So, and these are dupes. I did a video comparing these on my face, and this is far more affordable. They still do it. This, I haven't reached for it ever since that review, so I know for sure that the ABH can go and the Zoeva is going to stay. Let me talk about the Zoeva foundation also in its own respect for a minute, because this is such a lovely foundation and I feel it's very overlooked in the makeup sphere. So if you're looking for, especially if you're in the EU and shipping for Germany isn't too atrocious for you, you can get this from the official Zoeva website, and it's a lovely product if you like a light to medium coverage foundation that is very dewy on the skin and that feels very hydrating. One of my favorite sort of like summertime bases is the Giorgio Armani Neo Nude True to Skin Natural Glow Foundation. This is in 1.5 and I love this in like June, July time. Then this is just perfect for my skin. It's that perfect summertime lightweight base. This is definitely not going anywhere when we do a declutter. More Giorgio Armani. I now get the hype. I tried this in 2021. This is the Luminous Silk Perfect Glow Flawless Foundation in shade 3. I have never been able to find such a perfect shade in a foundation as this. This is like pretty bang on. Same with the Lisa Eldridge, by the way. I don't think I told you what shade it is, but it's number 5. I'll make sure to have all the names of the foundations in the description box down below and shade names as well. So if I forget to mention it, just check out the description box and then you can see exactly what it is. So the Fenty Beauty Skin Tint is one that I still want to love so badly, and I've kept it around in my collection for some time. But as much as I love them for their like bronzer, blushes, and highlighters, their base products just aren't quite right for me because I have such dry skin, and I feel that Fenty Beauty is better for normal to oily skin people, which is why this, again, I need to take a decision on because it is quite a light shade for me and I use it sometimes as a mixer. If something is too dark, especially in this realm, we've got some dark shades going on that aren't quite right. So this is nice for that. So I'm like, do I want to keep it around, yes or no? And then my very first ever skin tint before skin tints were ever even a hype. This is the Chanel Le Beige Sheer Healthy Glow Tinted Moisturizer. This is in the shade, does it have a shade name? It's in the shade Light. And I remember loving this. And this is another contender to, hopefully I can use the Tarte up before the summertime, and then I can use this one up over the summertime. So that's sort of the plan with this one, to try and use it up. And my final, I think this is the final more high-end thing here, and this is the Rare Beauty Tinted Moisturizer. Tried it last year in 2022, absolutely loved it. I know not everybody likes this, but again, if you have dry skin, This is great. I've heard oily skin and normal skin people saying that it made them look like a glazed donut, but that's the kind of products I love. If it makes me look like a glazed donut, I know it's gonna work for me. And then we're just gonna work from left to right with these drugstore things, or shall I move things over? I'll move things over so we get a better view of these. Right, so I had to open the door. So again, I hope the camera angle didn't shift too much for you guys, because the mailman was here. So yeah, we've got foundations here now that are drugstore and my K-Beauty trial pile. So if you've seen my most recent haul in January, then you know what my plan is with those, but I'll tell you again in this video. An OG favorite, Bourjois Healthy Mix. Nobody talks about this anymore. And I was like, hey, they're now doing other shades. So maybe this is a bit better for me, because the first shade I used to own was Vanilla, I think, 51, and that was far too yellow for me. This is shade 50, Ivory Rose, and this is definitely better, but still not spot on. But I love this formula. This is such a good one. So maybe I just need to keep this around because it's quite new to me. I only got it in 2021 to try out for my drugstore foundation video that I'm going to be filming for you in April, I hope, because not all of these I've tested out enough yet. Nabla Skin Realist. This is a lovely product, but it's so yellow. And I kept it last year because I was like, I really like it because I love the formula of this. But I think I now have other skin tints that I like better, even at a drugstore price point, that are a better shade for me. Essence Pretty Natural. I had forgotten I have this, but I always keep an Essence and a Catrice foundation in my collection in case I want to do a full face off, because these are brands I feature often. So I have this, but maybe I should just not keep it in my makeup collection, but in like a special little cubby where I have like things I just need to have around for videos. Who knows? The Kiko Precious Rituals is nice, but this was limited edition. Like, why is a foundation limited edition, Kiko? It came out in 2021 and I liked it, but I like their other one. Where did it go? This one. I like it better. So maybe I only need one Kiko foundation. This is their Insta Moisture foundation in the shade 1R. And this is a lovely, very dewy foundation. Now, 1R is the lightest shade, but you don't see a lot of pink tone foundations at the drugstore, and this one is. Like, this is my perfect shade at the drugstore, so this definitely needs to stay. More Kiko then, and this is a very recent purchase. I got a full face of Kiko to do for you guys in December, so that video is already up. So if you want to see this going onto my skin, you can watch that video down below. And this is a cream foundation. This is the Nourishing Perfection Cream Compact Foundation in CR15. And I thought that's going to be way too dark for me. But it worked beautifully. And then I thought this is probably not going to be for my skin tone, like my skin type. And then it worked for me because I did a bit of a wear test in that video and I showed you what my makeup looked like after 12 hours of wear. And this looked so pretty. Kiko knows how to do a good foundation. So especially if you're someone who struggles finding good foundations, maybe try Kiko if you want them from the drugstore. I have to say though that the Kiko shade range is a bit shoddy if you're very fair. The Wet n Wild Tinted Hydrator. As I'm filming this, this is the foundation that's in my Shop My Stash to try out and review for you guys. And I love this. The formula is amazing, but the shade. It's in Fair. This is the lightest shade I could buy here in the Netherlands. I even had to go online for this because I couldn't find it anywhere in store, of course, because Wet n Wild isn't a thing over here. And it's just like 5 shades too dark for me. I mean, in the end, I feel I can get away with it if I like apply bronzer and like do a full face of things, but I have so many foundations that are actually good shades for me, even from the drugstore, that I'm like, do I really need to keep this around even though I love the formula? Speaking of like a shade that's way off, this is the EX1 Invisiwear Liquid Foundation. Now, sometimes when I mention foundations in videos, people will suggest like, don't you have like perhaps a green undertone? Aren't you an olive? Because you struggle so much like finding right foundation shades. No, I'm neutral. And I know I'm neutral because I tried this. I didn't know this going into it, but I bought this to try out for that drugstore review that I have been mentioning a few times, thinking EX1 is a brand I haven't heard anybody talking about for a while. Let me see what they're all about. And then someone in the comments said, yeah, but EX1 is specifically formulated for olive skin tones. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that about them. It didn't say that anywhere on the website. And then I was in the UK and I found myself in a Superdrug where they stocked this brand and the display said in massive letters for olive skin tones. I was like, oh. But yeah, this made me look very green. It's in, what shade is this in? 2? Depth-wise, it works. This is a really nice shade for me depth-wise, but when I put this on, I look like Frankenstein. It's the monster of Frankenstein, because Frankenstein is technically the doctor of the story. Oh, sorry, English literature nerd cap taken off. But yeah, this made me look green, so it doesn't work. Pretty Fresh from Colourpop. I repurchased this in 2021 after loving it. I put this in a favorites video in 2020 saying how much I like it. Again, I haven't gone back to it. Same story as with the IT Cosmetics. There are so many great foundations out there that I just know I don't need to repurchase things that I love anymore. So maybe this, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this. It's still good. The one I had separated, which is why I bought this, because the other one went bad. Else I would have kept the other one around. Then a brand that was new to me, but that I had people talking about, like had heard people talking about in my comment section and asking if I could try them. This is Eveline Cosmetics. They're a Polish drugstore brand, and I found this on Notino. And their foundations just look really interesting to me. So I have the Tea Tree one and the Better Than Perfect, and I believe both of these, I did already put them on my face, but I haven't tried them enough to really be able to make up my mind about them. I both have them in the lightest shade possible, Porcelain and Ivory. And with Eveline, I was very, very confused what my shade was going to be. But yeah, this brand does make really nice foundations. Case in point, the one that I did review, the Wonder Match. This feels like a high-end foundation when it goes on. Like, truly. It goes on so beautifully, great formula. This is in the shade 16 Light Beige. They came out with more shades in this foundation after it had already come out. And I got one of those like extended shades because this looked a little bit peachy. And despite it being like 16, it's not that dark. I didn't love the shade on me, but this is a very, very good drugstore foundation. But I have found that if a shade just isn't quite right, I don't end up wearing it all that much. But yeah, lovely, lovely foundation. The reason why I wanted to try more drugstore foundations was the NYX Born to Glow. I bought this on a whim from a local store and I was like, huh, I haven't tried so many, like there are so many like drugstore foundations that I haven't tried in a while. And also because nothing new had really been launching here where I live. None of the Maybelline or L'Oreal launches have come this way yet. So sometimes we can find it online, but shade ranges online are just difficult to tell, which is probably why I got the wrong shade in the Eveline Wonder Match as well, I'm not going to lie. But this is in Porcelain. If you're looking for a very dewy foundation, this is the one. Oh, and by the way, the shade match of the NYX is spot on. Another spot-on shade for me is this, the H&M Perfect Hydrating Foundation with hyaluronic acid and vitamin E. This is in the shade 2N Light Sand. I don't think they still do this. H&M Beauty is sold at larger H&M stores and online. So if you go through their app or their online website, you can find everything. And this I really liked. But again, do I need this in my life? Maybe not, but once I declutter some things, this may be one that I want to keep around because this is a really good affordable foundation. So, and the shade is really nice on me. I probably shouldn't like this as much as I do, but this is the e.l.f. Camo CC Cream. It's in the shade Fair 120. I love this little thing. It's just far too full coverage for my liking. But the shade was nice. I like the texture. This didn't make me look very dry and cakey. It's just far more coverage than I ever need in my life. However, in February, so by the time you're watching this, I hope to be able to do an e.l.f., like a full face of e.l.f. I've been able to get my hands on some more e.l.f. products because they come out with so many great things over the past years. And so I was like, I want to do a full face of e.l.f. So that's what we're going to be doing in February for sure. But this, after I feature it in that video, it may just have to go. And then, oh, I think I've mixed some things up. So let me divide it like this because we've got some more drugstore things. My surprise of 2022. This little guy. This is the Beige Before Anything Else Shake Up Skin Tint from Hema. This is sold in the Netherlands and pretty much nowhere else, so I do apologize. It's in natural tan. It looks way too dark, but like the All Hours, no, the Touche Éclat from YSL, this lightens when you blend it in. This is now my favorite drugstore skin tint. This is one I want to keep around. This one was such a good one. The coverage is great, and I tried it out at the same time as this, the Ultraviolette. I like this better. And this is like 8 times more expensive because this was like over 40 euros. And this was 5 or 6. I love me some L'Oreal foundations. I think from like a standard drugstore brand, that L'Oreal is my favorite one. And this is the Infallible Fresh Wear and the True Match Nude Foundation. This is a dupe for the YSL All Hours. I like this. This is like my drugstore version of that. I'm not sure whether I want to get rid of this because even though I haven't worn it in a while, it's just such a good comparison to the YSL All Hours that I'm like, might as well keep it around. But yeah, a little bit more full coverage than I would normally go for. And this is the True Match Nude. And this is in the shade 0.5 to 2, very light. I want to love this so badly, you guys. It's such a beautiful finish. I love the texture of this thing. It's beautiful. But how does this not go everywhere every time you use it? This is so messy. Like, do you see that? You close the lid and there's product everywhere every time you use this. And I just don't like that. So that's a bit of a pet peeve, I know. But guess what? Guess what? The shade is too dark. Yes, even the lightest shade available is too dark for me. Let me talk about these. This is the Lumen. I'm still not sure how to pronounce these, but I believe you have to say every single syllable. So I'm gonna go with Lumene. They're Finnish. They're also a EU-based drugstore brand. Apparently when you're in Finland, this is like the first makeup brand you try. I had never heard of them. The Natural Glow Fluid Foundation in Light. Can we take a minute? If you want ultra glowy, this was so nice. I already tried it out, but you'll see that in the drugstore review because both of these are going to be part of that. And even this blur one, it wasn't that bad. I was afraid it would be too mattifying for me. This is in Zero Light Ivory. It's even a bit lighter. And both of these were really nice. I was very happy with these. And I just mentioned that I always keep Essence and Catrice foundations around. So the True Skin is the one I currently have from Catrice. It's not my favorite. It's not my perfect foundation for sure. But they are coming out with a new foundation. I'm so excited because since this launch, they haven't launched a single new foundation. So I'm excited. This is the 010 Cool Cashmere shade. I did end up purchasing this in a different shade because when I initially bought it, it was too light. It didn't look right on me. But this is just far too much coverage for me. I want something dewier. I think if you have normal to oily skin, you're gonna love this, but I'm very excited to hopefully be able to try that new Catrice foundation very, very soon. And then we just have a couple of bits left. Something that's too dark, but that I still love is the Flower Light Illusion foundation. This is in the shade Porcelain, which was the lightest shade the brand sold when it was for sale here in the Netherlands. For a hot minute, we got some Flower Beauty products in. They have disappeared by now. I think pandemic didn't really do them any justice there. I want to try the shade Shell, which is L0, because I think that's a better shade for me. But I have found that this is a perfect dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin. So also shade-wise. This is in shade 3. This is in Porcelain L1. So if you're on a budget and you want the Charlotte Tilbury look at a lower price point and you're in the US, Flower Beauty for sure. And finally, two of these foundations in a bit of a tube situation here. The Rimmel Kind and Free in the shade Rose Ivory number 10. This is the lightest shade they do. Guess what? It's about 5 shades too dark for me. This is very orange. It makes me look like an Oompa Loompa. Lovely formula though. And then last but not least, the Bourjois Healthy Mix Tinted Moisturizer. I'm hoping I like this. I don't know yet. I haven't put this on my face yet. The shade here is 001 Fair. And then if you saw my January haul, then you know that all of these are new to me and is going to be my next project. So once I review all of those drugstore foundations for you on the channel, I'm going to be making myself a project of trying out 10 K-Beauty BB cream slash foundation kind of things and these kind of things, which are tone ups, like you can use, like, I don't know, the marketing on this is very confusing because it's not a primer, it's not an SPF, it's not skincare, it's not foundation, and yet it's all of those things. You can wear this by itself as well. I'm super excited for this. Then I have some of the Maison things here. The Eliza Vecca BB cream, a very, very cult favorite one. Some Clio, because I've never tried any of their base products and I wanted to try something. Some Holika bits, something by the same, because I love their concealer and I thought I could try their foundation. And then another Misha BB cream. And the reason for all of this are these two guys. The Misha Perfect Cover BB cream is one of my all-time favorite base products. I adore this. This is so good. And then I have the Purito Cica Clearing BB cream. Both of these are in 21 Light Beige. I love both of these products, which is why I was like, you know what? I need to delve into some more K-Beauty. So this is what this is what you can look forward to in 2023, to have me test out all of these things. So these are going to go into Shop My Stashes in like towards the summer, I'm sure. And then I hope to be able to review all of these in like July time. So those were all of the products I wanted to feature in my foundation inventory collection video. So for me, an inventory isn't necessarily about numbers. I just want things to fit in my organizer. So I'm definitely due a declutter because there's a lot of overflow here. Like it all fits into this cubby still. But for instance, if I want to add my Kiko cream foundation, it needs to go on top like this, which I don't love. So it all still fits, but I definitely am due a declutter, which I'm going to be showing you in March. So if you'd like to see what I actually keep around from these, but I just thought it could be helpful to sort of film this. Like, I'm gonna do this anyways. I'm gonna go through everything, so I might as well show you at the same time. So part number 2 is going to be concealers, which is going to be up tomorrow because I'm making this a daily series here on the channel. And I have a top 10 favorites foundation shopping list up on my Shop My Shelf. So if you click the link in the description box that says Shop My Favorites, then you can find that, and you can find lots of other beauty, makeup and skincare products that I absolutely adore. And if you shop through that website, I could make a bit of a commission because it's an affiliate link program. So just to be fully transparent there. So yeah, thank you so very much for joining me today. I really hope you enjoyed watching today's video. Thank you so very much for watching me. And then I hope to see you again very, very soon. Hopefully tomorrow in the concealer video. Bye-bye!